Hello and welcome to episode 45 of the Weighing Room, where we're all back this week, back to normal. Three of us, as ever, are previewing a superb 7 races on Saturday afternoon from Newmarket, Haydock and the Curragh. Lads, it's been a few weeks since the three of us have got together on the pod. Frankie, how have you been? I saw you at Perth on Thursday.
Yeah, all good. Long day up and down in a day, but it was a good trip. It's a nice race course. Another new one ticked off for me on my travels around the country. So yeah, good day. I've been good. I'm up for this weekend. I'll be doing the Super League Grand Final, so not racing, but hopefully we pick some winners before that.
Yeah, let's hope so. Paul, how's things? Everything okay?
Yeah, all's good. Tipping away. Can't complain. Life is good. Looking forward to another, might be top-notch stuff, but certainly got a competitive card to look forward to this weekend. And go on.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the biggest and best weekend of racing, but with 2 Group 1s to look forward to, it's definitely something for flat fans coming to the end of the season to get stuck into. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to go through 7 live races here. 6 of them are going to be on ITV, with the Cambridgeshire meeting at Newmarket, as I said, showing off 2 Group 1s, but the Group 2 Royal Lodge as well, then the Cambridgeshire. We're also going to go over to the Curragh, where the Group 2 Beresford Stakes gives us indicators, doesn't it, for the Guineas and sometimes the Derby for next season. So that's a race we'll get stuck into. And then there's 2 races from Haydock, where yesterday I'm in Manchester and it was absolute pelting down with rain. So I think the ground is looking like it's going to be soft, as it is normally is at Haydock. So take that into consideration when you're looking at the card this weekend. But yeah, 2 races from Haydock we're going to get stuck into as well. So right, gents, we'll get started. And the first event of the day is the Beresford Stakes. We're going to start at the Curragh with their only race we're going to cover from there. Aidan O'Brien's got an unbelievable record in this race. Paul, we'll start with you. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think he holds the aces once again. I think as the price reflects, I'm with Adelaide River. Wayne Lorden takes the mount on Adelaide River, who won well on debut at Dundalk under Wayne Lorden. And I thought it was made plenty of use of in a Group 3 contest at Longchamp, where he eventually finished second. The winner was registered a second success in 3 starts, had the benefit of 1 more run. I think if ridden with a little bit more restraint here, I think Adelaide River is the one to beat. And I think Stable Companion Continuous, who's had 1 start and 1 win, Emmett McNamara takes them out, could well give Adelaide River most to think about in this one.
Yeah, Adelaide River currently at the top of the market, around 5-4, and obviously got a leading chance off the back of that second last time out in Group 3 company. Frankie, for you?
Yeah, I have a similar opinion with the favourite. If I'm honest, I was trying to just find something that might be a bit of a dark horse in here, especially as what you're about to find out the next 3 races. I'm looking at the top of the market, so I was thinking, come on, there must be something of that's a little bit more interesting than a strong favourite. The only one that I watched most of these races back because they've only had 1 or 2 starts each, and you know you haven't got loads to go off. Visually, Roaring Gallagher, I thought, looked a little bit unpolished on debut and maybe had the most room for improvement left in him. So at a bit of an each way price, Roaring Gallagher maybe, but I mean, what is there, 7 in the field, so you're not going to get loads of places anyway, to maybe take on the favourite. But I do agree, I think the favourite is strong.
I think frequent viewers of the pod might have thought you'd have gone for Joseph O'Brien against you. A bit of a fanboy.
My man.
I'm of a similar opinion to you that I haven't, even though I think Adelaide River probably should go and win, O'Brien's record is just absolutely unbelievable in this race. He wins and wins and wins. But I have took a slightly different opinion that I do think the 2 horses he shoved into the race this year are nowhere near the same calibre. I know we've only seen Continuous once and Adelaide River twice, but like his others that have gone on to win, horses like Capri, I think, who was it? What was the horse last year or the year before that went on to came from absolutely nowhere? I'll think of his name during the pod. But these are better horses than these that he's put into the race. And I was of the opinion that maybe it's a chance for another trainer to come and take the pot this year. I'm going to take a chance with Crypto Force for Ammo Racing around the 10-1 mark, and I think that's quite a big price for this horse that hasn't really done a lot wrong apart from its last run. If you look at his first run, it was a winner on debut over 7 furlongs at the Curragh, and he saw off the Group 2 champion juvenile stakes winner August Rodin. It was no fluke that day, won by close to 2 lengths. And obviously August Rodin's gone on to progress throughout the season. He was sent into the listed Chesham Stakes at Royal Ascot off the back of that. Underperformed that day. I believe he's much better than that. He hasn't been seen since. There might have been something up. There might have been something niggly wrong. I hope he's fresh for this race. I think 10 to 1's a big price each way. And I just thought I was happy to take on the O'Brien runners. I see Pivotal Trigger has been backed in from 5 to 1 into 72 at the time of recording for Jessica Harrington. But I just want to take a chance on a 10 to 1 shot Crypto Force. I think there's much more to come. And hopefully with Colin Keane on board as well, that's a bit of a bonus. So yeah, Crypto Force for me in that one. So we'll start with the ITV races now. And we go over to Newmarket for their first one. And it is the Group 2 Royal Lodge Stakes. It's a cracker every season. There's only 4 gone to post this season. And Frankie, this favourite looks tough to beat, doesn't it?
Yep, I'm looking at 4 to 7 as we speak. And yeah, I mean, right, it's a 4-runner race. I think all of them have won last time out. A couple of expensive purchases in here, but Flying Honours really does look the one to beat here. Just dominated last time out in the Leicester event, and the second going on to do the same, actually. I think the second went on to win by 4 or 5 lengths as well next time out. So off the back of that, what we've seen so far from Flying Honours looks like could be a really, really smart horse. So it's short. It's probably not one for much of a bet, but I do think the favourite wins this.
Yeah, Paul, you have a similar opinion? Just Flying Honours, just go and win this?
Yeah, short and sweet. Maybe one for the Actors if you are getting involved, but maybe not a race to get stuck into. Sit back and watch. Flying Honours should win.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same opinion. It's too short now. It was 6 to 4 at the anti-post stage. If you got on board then, you're looking at an absolute cracking bet now, currently around 8 to 15, 4 to 7. As you said, Frankie, Stormbuster last time out was second behind Flying Honours, come up and won by 5 lengths to a stable mate of Flying Honours. And the thing with Charlie Appleby this season, he's had that many good 2-year-olds around 7 furlong, around the mile mark. And he's looking for his Guineas horse next year. I think Flying Honours and Naval Power are probably the top 2 to take away from the season, with obviously Victory Dance getting beat and others that run into a high standard, but maybe not to the same as this one. I think Flying Honours is one of the top notches and will show that. Obviously, Curragh won this race last year before going on to win the Guineas. You could see probably Flying Honours going down a similar path. Maybe we yet to know how good this horse can probably be, but from off his last 2 wins, he looks extremely smart. So Flying Honours, yeah, one for the Accas across this weekend. So Haydock's first race of the afternoon on ITV is the Class 2 Old Boston Handicap. Paul, who do you like in this one?
I think there's more to come from Montesib this season. I think there's another win to come from him this season. He was last seen finishing 4 to 10 at Ascot at their Shergar Cup meeting. He was beaten favourite on his last 3 starts. He does like to come from off the pace, so we'll be hoping for a fast gallop here. He should get that from Encourageable. We'll also be hoping for a little bit of luck. He's been sent off favourites in 5 of his last 6 starts, and I'm hoping Montesib can get back to winning ways here.
Yeah, Montesib, look, he's a brilliant horse, but also a frustrating horse at the same time. But now coming into this company, you'd like to think that the horses that have been beating him aren't probably as good as some that are in here. And he might even appreciate the soft ground from if you look already, he's already won on soft ground, and some of these might not. And if that rain does keep falling at Haydock, he's going to be quite a bit of a test. So yeah, Montesib currently around 4 to 1 as I'm looking. Frankie, would you like in this one?
I'd take a bit of a chance on, well, I don't know if you'd call it a chance. What price is it? It's 3rd favourite, so a good chance on Astro King. The risk may be a couple of months off, and most racing's been done over a mile or slightly further. Disappointing on kind of figures last time out in a listed race, but it was a very good listed race. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. And then prior to that, ran well in the Royal Hunt Cup, which is a good bit of form. And what I probably like most is the fact they've stuck a £3 claim on. Kind of leads me to believe that they're here for business, and they do want to. The marks are now at 101, I think. Just trying to get the Royal Hunt Cup up. That day was 102. Ryan rode it that day. Take another 3 off, £4 better off than that day. Back in a handicap after a tough listed race. I think it's got a chance. And as I said, that £3, the fact they've sided with a claim, it maybe means that they do want to take every chance they can here.
Yeah, Astro King currently around 6-1 in the market. So Michael Stout's got a couple of runners across this weekend, and some at Newmarket as well. They've got big chances. So yeah, Astro King definitely got a big chance. I am taking a bit of a swing here, and it's a bit of a cliff horse for me. And you know, we on this pod we jump on, we jump off, we jump on. I'm going to stay with this one for this one, but this is his last chance, absolute last. And it's One East. When we were doing the preparation for this, he was 20-1 in the market with one firm, but he's now 14-1 across the board. I'm still happy to play at 14-1. One East for Charlie Hills. Seen 6 times for this trainer during his career. He was 6th of 14 at Newmarket and a decent maiden on debut. He then went, but then in September at Ascot, over 7 furlongs, he got off the mark, beating a subsequent Group 3 winner. Finished last season by making back-to-back wins at Salisbury over 7 furlongs in a novice stakes, giving weight away. I thought that was quite impressive. That was also on soft ground. Obviously, we've already mentioned that Haydock could be tested on Saturday, so with One, he's already winning on soft ground. I've got no problem with him taking to the ground. He bought the hat-trick in the Esher Cup handicap at Sandown on seasonal debut this term when seeing a mile for the first time. That was a nice performance. He was then on a mark of 91 when he was sent to Royal Ascot, and he was a good 6th of 30 in the Britannia Stakes, but no problem with that run at all. Very tough race to win, and he was in the frame. Look, last time out of Goodwood, he went up to 10 furlongs. He ran no race at all. Some horses just don't take to Goodwood at all. I've got no problem with putting that race behind him. He's on a mark of 93. He's only £2 higher than that Ascot run. He does need to bounce back, but what could help him bounce back? He's had a gelding operation since going to Goodwood. I just thought of a mark of 93. I always thought this horse would be better than that. It is his last chance for me. But One East at 14-1 each way, I thought was a cracking bet in this race. Also, I've just thought of the horse I was trying to talk about with the Beresford, and that is High Definition. I came from absolutely nowhere to win that. I knew it'd pop in my brain somewhere. Newmarket's next event we're going to cover, and it's the first Group 1 of the day, the prestigious Cheveley Park Stakes for 2-year-old fillies. I'll talk you through the odds here because it's quite competitive with 10 runners at the anti-post stage and still all holding their ground. So Meditate at the top of the market, around 2-1, followed by Trillium, who's chasing a 4-timer at 5-2. You got Lazoo, who hasn't been seen for a little bit, at 6-1. Swing Along, obviously, was a nice winner at York last time out at 7-1. And then you've got around 9-1 bar with the rest of them. Frankie, we'll start with you on this one. Who do you like?
Yeah, I told you there'd be some favourites coming in at Newmarket. I'm hoping for a bookie washout, just favourite after favourite. Has some happy punters on Saturday at Newmarket. I think Meditate's the one to be. And I'd actually go as far to say I think 2-1's a decent price, to be honest. She was unbeaten, beat Morge on that string of 1, 2, 3, 4 unbeaten starts. The last of those was 8-13 at the Curragh, and then I think just beaten by a very, very good horse at the Curragh last time out. You've seen some crazy anti-post kind of shouts come in for Tahira after that run, and the odds have been slashed to crazy short really for next year. And I just think that was a very, very good horse. And Meditate was still 3.5 lengths clear of third in a very good field, and went into that race the one to beat. And I think the only thing I take out from that is just 1 too good, really. Comes back into this sort of company, and I do think should win. Trillium is an interesting running back up to 6th after 2 victories over 5. But yeah, for me, the favourite's the one to beat, and 2-1 I think that's worth a good bet.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion, exactly for the reason you've just said. I really like Meditate, and I do think Meditate was Aidan O'Brien's best filly going into his 2-year-old campaign this season with his horses. And she's shown that, hasn't she, like at Royal Ascot. And obviously when she won that Group 2 at the Curragh, beating Olivia Meralda by, it was only 3/4 of length in the end, but I thought she probably could have, if she really wanted, she could have won by more. Olivia Meralda's not a bad horse at all, obviously running on the Friday, so hopefully the form will be franked. But Yeah, Meditate. I've got a lot of respect for Trillium. I think Trillium's been absolutely brilliant for Richard Hannon this season, and back up to the 6 is interesting. But that run last time out, like you mentioned, Tahira looks an absolute freak. I was on Meditate that day, and I thought, I don't know what beats this horse. And then Tahira just comes up absolutely swinging on the outside and wins fairly easy. But as you say, Meditate was nearly, close to 4 lengths clear of the 3rd place that day. Dropping back to 6 furlongs. I think 6 furlongs probably her trip, even though she can go 7. I think 6 furlongs is her trip. She showed a lot of pace, I thought, and pace is what you obviously need in this race. And I don't think she lacks pace at all. And I just think off the back of that performance last time out, there's no harm getting beat by a horse like Tahira. I thought Meditate was the one to be on. Paul, for yourself?
Yeah, even though there is only the pound separating Meditate and Trillium, but I'm going to make it a full house for the Aidan O'Brien trained filly.
Yeah, I'm glad we've all we've gone for the hat trick with her, because I think she has got a great chance in that. But obviously, it is a cracking race. You've got to give mention to Lazoo and Swing Along that are obviously very progressive, and Buick on Lazoo is interesting as well. But yeah, Meditate for all of us. So one of the toughest punting events on the pod I think we're going to cover this week is the last race from Haydock on ITV, and it's the Leicester Pickup first to last Class 2 handicap. Paul, do you want to kick us off in this one?
I've gone with a Paul Midgley runner who he runs 2 in this, and I don't think it'd be a massive surprise if we saw Burning Cash bounce back to form under jockey Graham Lee. The trainer and jockey have enjoyed plenty of success in recent seasons. Burning Cash has shown very little in 4 runs since scoring at Doncaster back on July the 1st. He finished 12th to 19 at Doncaster when last seen. I think he's better than his recent form suggests, and at a price, I'm taking a chance that Burning Cash can get in the mix for the Midgley G Lee team.
Yeah, Burning Cash around 16 to 1, nice price there. Paul, Frankie, who you want in this one?
Going with Nomadic Empire, one sliding in the weights, and hopefully can take advantage of that. Started this season, or was rated 103 on second start of the year. Now we are looking at 93, and that has just been steadily coming down. But the last 3 starts over 5 or 5.5 at York, Haydock and Doncaster, I think have all been decent enough. And to see this horse continue to drop, I think it's been maybe slightly fortunate. I would have kind of kept this horse hanging around 95, but 93, 3 decent efforts. One was at Haydock, which was 5th, but wasn't a bad race. Last time out on soft gives you a little bit of encouragement with the rain, and still ran a decent race. So yeah, maybe want to take advantage of this low rating after a few consistent efforts. And if you're looking at RPRs, up in the high 90s, not disgraced at all.
Yeah, I've followed a similar form line actually to Nomadic Empire, but I've gone for Count d'Orsay in this one. Obviously just ahead of Nomadic Empire at Doncaster last time out. But for similar reasons as you, Frankie, Count d'Orsay is sliding in the weights all year. And I just think Tim Easterby, when he gets it right, can absolutely capitalise on it. So yeah, as I mentioned, having gone up in the handicap over the last few years, this season has seen Count d'Orsay just slowly come down, now to a mark of 88. It's the lowest he's been for nearly 3 years. His run last time out when he just beat Nomadic Empire over 5.5 in the Coral Portland handicap at the St. Ledger meeting, thought put him back on track. He was 3rd and 19 that day. Off the same mark on Saturday, appreciating any rain that falls, he'll love that because he's won on soft a few times. I don't think he'll be far away again. It wasn't a massive opinion because this is a really tough race, but around 7 to 1 currently as a look in the market. Thought Count d'Orsay's got a big chance. As I say, he's a course and distance winner at Haydock, and the last time he won was actually off £3 higher. So the mark of 88 might be very lenient for Count d'Orsay. And I think the only thing that worries me, I don't like stall 1 in a sprinting race because you can get swallowed up. That's my only worry. But if he does get out and have a clean shot at things, I think he's got a really big chance of being in the mix. So the second and final Group 1 we're going to cover on the podcast this week is the Middle Park Stakes. Another absolute cracker to get stuck into ahead of this weekend. Marshman currently around 2 to 1 at the top of the market. He is differing with some bookmakers because he was 11 to 4 early last night. Blackbird 11-4, Mischief Magic 7-2, Persian Force Consistency Error around 11-2, and then Aidan O'Brien also has the Antarctic at 10-1, and obviously 12-1 Bar. Frankie, we'll start with you on this one. Who'd you like?
I'm going with the Blackbeard or Persian Force, who have both raced against each other previously. 11-4 is a good price for Blackbeard, so I would probably stick with that rather than trying to find the each way. There's not actually as much difference as I thought maybe there would be, or there was when I first looked. I think Blackbeard was slightly shorter, and you could maybe get 6s about Persian Force. But at the prices, Blackbeard would be my selection out of the two. Had that little blip when second at the Curragh when we saw those clips of him playing silly buggers down at the start. And I guess after that, there were question marks. And since then has come out and won a Group 3 and a Group 2 in nice style and answered those question marks. And I think off the back of those two, in my opinion, comes here the one to beat. Although the market's got it that Marshman is very good second behind Noble Star, who I think is a very, very smart horse. But I just wonder what was in behind those two. There's no doubting that Noble Star very smart. Marshman ran a very good race in second, but in third, fourth, and fifth, I don't know how much I'd stack that form up against the horses that Blackbeard has been running ahead of. So for me, it's another Aidan O'Brien one, Blackbeard.
Yeah, Blackbeard's interesting here because obviously what he does at the start, you almost think everything you know about horse racing and watching that of a horse before they get in the stalls, that would hinder him. But Blackbeard comes out and he's absolutely A1 when he gets out the stalls, and he jumps out the stalls no problem. Do you think, Frankie, that if he didn't do that at the start, he could be alongside Little Big Bear and could be even better? Or do you just think that's his character?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm sure they'd be asking maybe the same questions at home, or I'm sure they'd be trying to do something with him to calm him down, or maybe not. I mean, I don't know. Aidan O'Brien knows a lot better than I do. Maybe they just let him do his thing. Yeah, you could argue that there might be improvement if he gets his head in the game a little bit more. But even so, the form that he's shown is good enough for me. You could maybe make a case that Persian Force has raced here before. Blackbeard hasn't been over to England, and they have been closely matched before. But 11-4, I thought Blackbeard would be shorter, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with.
Yeah, I thought Blackbeard would be slightly shorter and a bit closer to Marshman, but there's others in the field as well. It's a absolute cracking race. Paul, for yourself?
I'm going to take a chance with Mischief Magic. I think he just could be the answer here. He's a winner of his last 3. I thought he was very impressive when taking a Group 3 contest at Kempton last time out. And I think is worthy of a crack at this level, representing a top informed team of Charlie Appleby and William Buick. So I'm with Mischief Magic here.
Yeah, Buick and Appleby absolutely flying, aren't they, as they have been all season. 38% Charlie Appleby's running at, Buick's running at 36, strike rate for the last 2 weeks. Mischief Magic as well. His run at Kempton last time out I thought was absolutely superb. Obviously, Believing's come out and franked the form, just finishing second in a good race. So yeah, Mischief Magic, and the market's behind you here, Paul, because 5-1 into 7-2 already could get even shorter. Yeah, he's interesting, Mischief Magic. But I've got against you both, even though you've made strong cases for those two. As you know, I'm an absolutely huge fan of Noble Style, and with Marshman just finishing second in behind Noble Style in the Jim Crack, I've got to follow that form line through, and I've got to stick with Marshman. I saw last night he was drifting out to around 11-4, but he's back in with most firms around 2-1. If he drifts slightly to 11-4, I think he's an absolutely cracking bet. 2-1, maybe slightly short, but I'm still going to go with Marshman. What we saw at Thirsk on his second start was a bit freakish, wasn't it? Close to 9 lengths he won by. Look, he didn't actually beat that much, but the way he pulled away from the field was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, like I mentioned, he was up in class for his latest run against Noble Style. He was in the perfect position, and Noble Style just came through the field and just picked him off late on. That's absolutely no harm in that, because I think Noble Style's probably one of the best 6 furlong horses we've seen this season as a 2-year-old. And I think Marshman's only improving. He went off favourite that day, Marshman. They obviously liked his chances at York. I think the money might just come again. I think the form's probably the best on offer, even though Blackbeard last time went to Deauville and won that pre-morning. I still do think that the form behind Noble Style is probably the best on offer, and I'm happy to take a chance on Marshman. Even though Carl Burke's form isn't the best, probably his worst he's had all season. He's had a great season, but he's not running the best at the moment. Normally in the bigger races, his horses are A1. So I'm going to stick with Marshman around the 2-1 mark as we record. So the final event we're going to cover is obviously the big one. It's what the 3-day Newmarket meeting's all been about. It's the Cambridgeshire Handicap over 1 mile, 1 furlong. I think 30 runners go to post as they normally do. We've got Mujtaba at the top of the market, but William Haggis. He also has a second favourite with Protagonist at 7-1, Savvy Victory 9-1, and then we've got Totally Charming, Dual Identity first year around the 12, 14, and the rest of bar that. Paul, we'll start with you on this one. Never an easy race to call. The case with so many runners, but who do you like? Who are you putting a case up for?
Well, slight situation here at the heart, really the head. I would love to see Brilliant Light get involved for trainer side, Ben Serrer, and arguably one of the hardest working jockeys in the game, Dougie Costello. Just for an example, like Dougie would think nothing of getting up at 3, half 3 in the morning, driving 4 or 5 hours to ride 3, 4, 5 lots out and go on to an afternoon meeting, and then even go on to an evening meeting. Such as his work ethic, he's incredible, and he's been like that for as long as I've known him, so I would love to see Brilliant Light get involved here, but the selection has only registered 3 victories from 18 starts. He was a beaten favourite at Yarmouth last time out, but I thought ran well to finish 2nd of 18 at Goodwood the time before, and I think if he can reproduce that Goodwood run, he certainly won't be lacking assistance from the saddle, and I'd be hoping for a big run from Brilliant Light.
Yeah, Brilliant Light. He's been backed in 50-1, 40-1, 33-1, now 25-1 I'm looking at. So obviously a bit of money's come from him as well. You're moving markets this weekend, Paul, at the moment. So yeah, definitely got a big chance. Another thing as well with this race that when I was looking through, even though I have put one up that's in stall 3, the last 7 renewals have been won by horses drawn in 21 and higher. So there's obviously a bit of a bias with this race, but a lot of it does depend on where the horses are paced they're coming out of, and it might be different this year, and I'm hoping it might be different. But Brilliant Light is in stall 23, so it ticks that box as well for you, Paul. So definitely got a big chance. Frankie, who do you like in this one?
I'm near the top again. It's a good job I had some big price winners last week, isn't it? Because I haven't got much further than I think 3rd favourite on any card and any race. Savvy Victory. I'm lining up the Savvy Victory and Protagonist battle again. They were closely matched when meeting each other. At Goodwood, was it? No, at Doncaster. Savvy Victory, if you go back a few more starts, 3rd in the listed, was last in a group race. Okay, not good enough that day, and then beaten a nose by Protagonist, where maybe you could argue hit the front a little bit too early, or just didn't quite see the race out as I'd like. Protagonist had a target to aim at really with Savvy Victory and just pipped him at the finish. Those horses have both gone on to win, so my selection has gone on to win nicely at Goodwood. Protagonist went on to win quite nicely as well next time out. I watched both of those back, and I just thought visually Savvy Victory seems to maybe have a little bit in hand. They've both retained the same mark, so they're going off of not level weights on the day, but in comparison to what they raced off of when they met each other last time, level weights, there's no change in the weights between them, and I think Savvy Victory maybe might reverse that form. So I'm looking at those two really, another battle between the two of them.
Yeah, Savvy Victory definitely got a bit of a chance. The reason why I didn't go for Savvy Victory, I just think this horse might need a bit of ease in the ground, and I don't know how much rain will come at Newmarket. I know they are watering and are putting some on ahead of Friday, but I still think the ground will be good, maybe slightly quicker, and I don't know if Savvy Victory will like it as much as other horses, but definitely got a big chance, and I think he has been primed for this race off the back of that win last time out. So currently around 9-1, was 12-1, so being backed in slightly as well. I've gone for Protagonist. I've judged this race because I thought, why not? There's 30 runners. I'll have to, I mentioned off air to the lads, I think Sky Bet are paying 7 places and other firms are offering 6. So there's plenty of each way value out there. Protagonist was probably my first go-to around the 7-1 mark. Winner of his last 2 races, and ever since coming to William Haggis, I think, as I said, Frankie's a Joseph O'Brien fanboy. I'm a massive William Haggis fanboy. What he's done this season is absolutely brilliant, taking Charlie Appleby all the way to the line in the Trainers' Championship. I think Charlie Appleby's just gone ahead as we record, but with big guns to go, he could definitely be in with a chance of winning. And I think if obviously winning this race is going to help. He's got Mujtaba at the top of the market. That I think 92 is a bit too short, but Protagonist around the 7-8 to 1 mark, I think he's got a really big chance. Obviously, already beating Savvy Victory, and he gave him £3 that day. I've got no problem with taking him on again. I think it'd be tight, and I think they'll both be in the mix. But Protagonist for me, I think he's been laid out for this race off a mark of 97. Sorry, I've got no problem with him going up £7. I just thought he was interesting each way. Still waited to go very well. Tom Marquand in the saddle. Right, another one. Just bear with me, lads. I'm taking a bit of a chance here. 50 to 1 chance. And it's a horse I have put up before. And I am known for this. But Uzo, 50 to 1. 40 to 1 in places, but you can still get 50 to 1 as we record.
Did you drink a bit too much of it in Cyprus?
Oh, a bit too much, yeah. No, I've been drinking about it since. It's something from the heavens, this, isn't it? To give obviously a much bigger price than Protagonist at the 50 to 1 mark. Jamie Osborne, obviously coming off the back of winning the Racing League. Savvy Osborne, she's in the saddle, taking £3 off, and obviously she landed that treble at the Racing League to clinch victory. This horse, if you actually look at his races, he's very, very consistent. And going up an extra furlong, that's where I'm in a bit of limbo, because he's been running at a mile and he does love that mile. So whether that extra furlong might just stretch him, that's probably why you're playing a 50 to 1 chance. But his third 3 starts ago at Sandown behind Sinjari and Checker Challenge. Checker Challenge obviously come out since then and won a nice race at Deauville at Group 3 level. So that form holds up. He went to Goodwood in the Golden Mile Handicap at Glorious Goodwood. Blue For You, Orban won that day. Blue For You was back in second, gone to win a nice race at York, the Clipper Logistics. And Uzo was back in fourth and wasn't beaten by much that day. He then went on to York, obviously in the race I've just mentioned, behind Blue For You, Escobar, Tyrian C, Orban again, and Uzo was there in fifth, again not far off the lead. If you look at these, all these races will be paying 4 or 5 places. He's hitting the frame in all of these. He's down £2 to a mark of 93 for this race. It's just if he handles that extra furlong. Obviously, Safi Osborne, she's on board. She was on board last time, so she obviously gets on well with the horse. But that little extra £2 coming down to a mark 93, I thought was really, really interesting. And it might just be that I've been drinking too much in Cyprus, but yeah, Uzo at 51, I thought was really, really interesting. And another thing, he's drawn in stall 25, so he hits that factor of from 21 and higher over the last 7 years. If you want to read into that, it just hits that, and I think he's just got a big each way shout with 7 places on offer with some firms. So yeah, Uzo around the 50 to 1 mark, and Protagonist at 7 to 1 would be my shouts in that. Lads, that's all races covered this week. Just the 7 for us. Some great races covered there, but you know what time it is now? It is nap time. Paul, we'll start with you this week. Who'd you like?
I've gone elsewhere for the nap.
Okay.
I haven't had much luck now, in fairness, the last couple of weeks. So I'm off to Chelmsford. And I'm with the Sir Mark Prescott train. No prices at the time of recording. I'm with the Sir Mark Prescott train at the double, who was the winner of 3 of his last 4 starts. He won at Lingfield's last time out of victory that the handicapper has only raised him £4. And I think that still gives him every chance of spiking up in grade. I think at the double should take the beating here, and aptly named at the double. The pair team up again, Luke Morris and Sir Mark Prescott, with Gordon Zora, who runs a little later on the card. Gordon Zora is yet to get his head in front in 6 starts. His most recent run was at Chelmsford back on the 15th of September. He was a beaten favourite on his last 3 starts. He's presumably thought of better, and it's interesting that the trainer is opting to persevere with Gordon Zora later on that card at Chelmsford. But I do think at the double will take the beating in the 5.35.
Yeah, we don't mind that. One away, we don't mind that. As long as it wins, we don't mind it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice ball from Chelmsford then. Frankie, who's your nap this week?
Meditate, 2 to 1, I think is a great price for Meditate. And yeah, that would be my bet across the card, definitely. Trillium, the danger in my opinion, but Meditate's the one to beat. And I just think 2 to 1's too healthy to ignore. So yeah, that'll be the nap.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, Meditate definitely got a big chance, and we all like that one. I'm stuck this week. I've got a few that I do like. I think Uzo to hit to have a place, he's got a big chance. I can't pick this one up as a nap. I'm going to take a bit of a chance. So I'm going to go One East. I liked it at 20 to 1. I don't mind it at 14 to 1. If it was 12 10s, I'd still take it, but no shorter than that. Each way, definitely. But One East, his last chance for me. Just hope the Geldon operation might have put him bang on after the Goodwood run. And I just think there's more to offer from this horse off his mark of 93. Another one just away, like Paul's done. I do like one at Haydock on Saturday in the 425 called Run-A-Holic for George Scott. I just think this horse has been waiting to go into a handicap, and off a mark of 80 just could be a much better horse than that. So just watch out for Run-A-Holic at Haydock in the 425. But yeah, One East at 14 to 1 each way is my nap for the pod. Lads, thanks as always for your selections this week. Hopefully we found some winners. I know I've been away for the last 2 weeks, but I have been keeping up, and there's been some nice price winners. So hopefully we can keep that going. Be sure to like this video, comment your selections below for the weekend's racing on ITV and the race at the Curragh. And make sure you subscribe to the Whizzing Close to get notification, obviously, when there's more racing content out. All the best for the weekend, wherever everyone is back in. And thanks again, lads.
Cheers, lads.
All the best.